Hello, my name is Chuck Milian, and I'd like to welcome you to Module 1 of your journey into Promised Land living. Before we begin the journey, I'd like to share a couple of things with you very quickly. First of all, I want to introduce you to Cheryl Scanlon, who will be teaching on these things. Cheryl is a very gifted leader and facilitator who has a special knack for helping people process through personal transformation. I really think you're going to enjoy what she has to say, and I know God's going to use it if you're willing to really make some great progress and changes of transformation in your life. The second thing I want to let you know is that this is about a journey from your head to your heart and then out into your hands, where life is really lived out. So to set the stage for Module 1, I'd like to share with you an excerpt from a book written by Charles Sykes in 1996. It was a book called Dumbing Down Our Kids. And in this book, he gave 11 rules that he thinks every kid in high school should hear before they graduate. Let me share it with you. Rule number 1, life is not fair. Get used to it. Rule number 2, the world will not care about your self-esteem. You won't be able to accomplish something before you feel good about yourself. Rule number 3, you will not make $60,000 a year right out of high school. You won't be a vice president with a car phone until you earn it. Rule number 4, if you think your teacher is tough, wait till you get a boss. Rule number 5, flipping burgers is not beneath your dignity. Your grandparents had a different word for burger flipping. They called it opportunity. Rule number 6, if you mess up, it's not your parents' fault. So don't whine about your mistakes, learn from them. Rule number 7, before you were born, your parents were not as boring as they are right now. They got that way from paying your bills, cleaning your clothes, and listening to you talk about how cool you thought you were. So before you save the rainforest from the parasites of your parents' generation, try delousing the closet in your own room first. Rule number 8, your school may have done away with winners and losers, but life has not. In some schools, they've abolished failing grades, and they'll give as many times as you need to get the answers right. This doesn't bear the slightest resemblance to anything in real life. Rule number 9, life is not divided into semesters. You don't get summers off, and very few employers are interested in helping you find yourself. Do that on your own time. Rule number 10, television is not real life. In real life, people have to actually get up and leave the coffee shop and go to work. And finally, rule number 11, be nice to nerds. Chances are you'll find yourself working for one of them. See, I think these rules for living are important because they illustrate something. There are certain facts or irrefutable laws of life that none of us can escape. They affect us all. And it's called common sense. Deep down we know these things, but we like to try to act like they don't exist or they're not real. Module 1 is about helping you identify things that will help you move forward in your life. And before you partake in Module 1, I want to give you some rules, so to speak, that will help you really make the most of this module. Let me read to you what they are. Number 1, don't compare yourself to anyone else. This is about what you and God need to deal with together. Rule number 2, don't sit there thinking about who else should be hearing what's being said. Focus on what God is saying to you, not what you think other people need to hear. Rule number 3, focus on 1 or 2 big ideas. You know, those light bulb moments that happen when God really breaks through. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by a million little details. Next rule, stop submitting to the lies that you're going to discover you've been believing about yourself, about God, and about others. As you go through this journey, God will uncover certain beliefs and lies that you have that are actually keeping you from God's best for your life. As soon as you discover them, chuck them out the window. They're not your friends. And finally, you need to surrender to your definition of who you think you are. You need to take that and set it aside and submit it to God's definition of who you are, His design of how He's made you and what He has planned for you. If you will surrender to God's design and God's plan, you will find a world of an incredible, unimaginable blessing. So I encourage you in Module 1, do these things, apply these rules to the process, and you'll see some really great things begin in this journey into Promised Land living. I hope you have a great time this session.